Dear students, it is the sixth video about week 1 communication. In the fifth video, we talked about the different aspects of the organizational communication. Whereas in this video, we will cover multiple concepts. The communication process. Communication process means that what elements include to constitute our communication. The very basic elements. Process basically means step by step development or execution of a function, the discrete division of something into logical parts, that may be called process. Fine. In communication process, as I have expressed in the very first video, that Aristotle gave the simplest format of communication process. He says that there should be a encoder, mean sender, message, and the receiver. Fine. Whereas the modern communication has included 4 elements. Clear? Number 1, it includes the sender, mean designer or encoder or speaker. Second thing is message, mean the very product he encodes. Third thing is medium, that the source he is trying to use to carry that information to the very person, and that is called channel also. And the fifth one, destination, for whom that message has been designed. And finally their response, mean the feedback. These are the basic elements that have been given here. Fine, with some variations. So there are different communication models. Let me clear this thing here. For example, in this situation, COVID-19, especially on this video, I am the encoder, I'm the designer of this video, I'm designing this video. Fine, I have got a written material, arranged it, designed it, highlighted it, then I have made the video. Fine, so I'm the designer. Number 2, this form, this page, this written material is the product. This video that you are watching on your screens right now is the product. Fine, it is what something designed. Product mean whatever, some message, some poetry, some painting, some novel, some code, software, whatever you say, that is called your product. And the third thing is that how I'm able to carry this, to transport this video and content to you. Obviously internet. So internet is our medium source. And fourth thing is, you people are my destination, you are my desired students. I'm not making this video for the students of somewhere sitting in America. I'm making it for you specially. They may be the secondary audience. Fine. And the feedback, if you read it, if you find it, download it, read it, question me, it means this is the feedback. And this is what I mean to communicate. If you feedback and if I get the result of my desired communication, you get study, you get information, it means the communication is ideal. Fine. So these are the basic elements. So number 1, there should be certain things in mind, that the encoder must be aware of the need, desire, situation of the destination, of the audience, of the decoder. Fine. Number 2, he should create the message which is at the need, interest, understanding level of the audience, of the destination, of the receiver. Third thing, the message must be designed according to the source, that the very source you are designing should be able to carry your message and take it right to the destination. And the source must be latest. Number 3, the fourth, the audience must be ready to operate, ready to respond, and the feedback is response. So response may be in the various manners. It may be in positive, it may be in negative, it may be in a call, a question, a query. That is your response, that your communication is working. Coming to the directions of the organizations. In organizational structures, there are different kinds of organizations. Some are called hierarchical organizations, some are called horizontal organizations. The hierarchical organizations, the government department, the bureaucratic style of management, for there is a prime minister, then a cabinet, and in the cabinet as a minister, and under a minister is a secretary, and this and that and that. That is called hierarchical organization. In hierarchical organization, in towering organizations, the communication is often two kinds: downward and upward. Downward communication is from top to the lower, from director to the lower employees. That is called downward communication. In the downward communication is often made by leaders and managers to express their goals, to issue the policies, to issue instructions, to uh, deploy and implement procedures. They are normally letters and directions and memorandums issued. Upward communication, when an employee at the lower stage have to communicate to the top managers. Unfortunately, in the British system of management that is prevailing in our country, that upward communication is made complex, that a person has to respond to the immediate boss rather than directly going to the director. And this is what the progress of the country is reduced. If the employee, however, of any department has a direct access to the director or the top management, can solve the problem easily. But in this way, the upward communication means that if, for example, I'm a clerk, I will have to write an application and will hand over to my head clerk. Head clerk will hand over this application to section officer. Section officer would hand over to it to the assistant director. Assistant director will hand over it to the deputy director. Deputy director will hand over it to the director head. Director head will send it to under secretary, then deputy secretary, and the deputy secretary will take it to the prime minister, and sorry, to the minister, and minister will take it to the prime minister. This is a hell of channels. This is why the government organizations are slow. Whereas if the very department has a direct method to send the application to the prime minister or to the concerned authority, can save the time. So upward communication are often requests, demands, supinations. Fine. Next is lateral organizations. When communication takes places among members of the same work group, among the members of the groups at the same level, it means lateral mean horizontal communication, where there is no boss, both people are at the same level. Here it is called discussions, negotiations, policy discussions, and the manner of the people are normally friendly. And it has been seen that you have seen that the lower employees have their own group, whereas the top authority have their own group. In all the departments, management group are always taken as a different group, and there is always a difference. There are always grudges between management and the operation. Here it is, oral communication has been discussed in brief, that through language, either it is written or speaking. At the moment I am communicating you both ways. In written, this is appearing on your screens, and in oral you are listening to my voice. And the next one is non-verbal communication. These screen, computer screen, font size, sounds, font size, colors, clear directions, they are the non-verbal communications, and it has been discussed in the previous also. And communication types: external communication, other remaining types. External communication, when an organization wants to communicate to the stakeholders out of the organizations. For example, media cells are made to communicate the organization, that is called external communications. Let's see it. External communication is between the organization and those outside the organization. Modern organizations may design technological systems so that they can communicate with the customers and undertake e-commerce. Alternatively, they communicate with the other business through the internet or similar systems and undertake e-business. Clear? Functions of the internal and external communication. External communication is communication simply for the purpose of the organizations. Fine. And objectives of communication have been discussed to develop information and understanding which are necessary for the group efforts. Clear? This has been discussed in precise. Importance of communication has also been discussed. Fine. Rules of the communications are very important. Let's see. Clarity to be effective. Clear. Brevity mean be comprehensive. Simplicity, be simple, less complications. Precisions, use of very exact words and decisions. Fine. For understanding that what is the clarity and precision, we have to understand the 7 C's, the 7 major points of the communication skills. Inshallah, these will be discussed in the uh, second week. Clear? Precisely. Hope you have understood. Thank you very much.